So they run into his cell, right? The squad subdue him, right? They inject him with whatever they inject him with. Now, on camera, it's heard Dave Dungay say 12 times, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, get the fuck off me, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. What do you think they do? They throw 3 more officers on. They put a knee in the back of the head. They ask on camera, how long does this take to kick in? Don't worry, he'll be asleep in 10 seconds. I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. More officers trying to hold him down, Dave Dungay becomes unresponsive. Enough. All right, so we're starting with food first, right? Listen, when you first come to ALJ, right? Like seriously, let me just find. When you first come to ALJ, you don't eat anyway. Most of the time, people don't eat. Why? Because they're either withdrawing, right? They're either withdrawing from upgrades, or like they're crushed. Some people, on the other hand, I suppose some people that haven't been eating outside will sleep a couple of days, come straight in jail and full munch the food. So when you first get into jail, right, the food tastes hectic. Like it's wow, bro, this is mad, this is crazy. But in reality, Snail J food is eat shade, lad. It's full of water. It gets cooked. It gets cooked 6 months, 4 to 6 months prior to us eating it. So if you're having a dinner in August, it's made in March. Bang, Z! Thank you, Z. Watch this, see that? You're a legend, Z. Oh, see them traps. Oi, Z, you're a legend. Thank you so much. I appreciate having you in my chat and always showing support. I love you. So I actually worked in the kitchen before I became a delegate, and I was going to Z, bang, thank you for the confetti. I worked with Ron Priestley. If you don't know who Ron Priestley is, he was a bloke that come to jail doing 3 years, ended up doing 33 years. He got an extra 30 years for a jail Erdemay and a riot. He was involved in 2 ALJ Erdemays and a riot. Like, he really done his jail different to everybody else. And so we ended up getting a C classo for a little bit, and I worked in the kitchen at Windsor. That's another story I should tell. When Windsor whole kitchen got raided, because it was the big drug importation hub, they thought that's a story I should tell as well, right? So the process I seen in there to prepare and cook food, if you actually seen the way it was prepared, what boys did, you would never eat jail dinners again. Like, I'd seen boys drop half-cut pumpkin, potatoes, chicken in water that's flooded throughout the kitchen because they're always washing the floor with muddy boots that have been walking through there. So it's full of water. There's mud all through the floor. They've chopped the chicken. They've chopped the potatoes. They've dropped them, like trays of it, onto the ground, picked it back up, thrown it straight in a tray, put it straight into a cooker. Like, some of the stuff I'd seen is fucking horrible. For the jail food itself, it has no nutrition, it has no protein. It's only like probably enough to eat. A 10-year-old child could have that for recess at school. It doesn't fill a grown man up at all. Like, they've got the RDI in there, and they had a nutritionist actually set out diets. Bruh, they're putrid. So most people will do cook-ups. The cook-ups are off a buy-up list. Actually, when I get back home, I should find a buy-up list and post it one day and show you what is actually on a buy-up list. So a lot of people will team up with 3 or 4 people, and they'll throw $20 in each, $15, half, $40, whatever, and they'll go in cook-ups. Now, the most common one is tuna, rice, garlic, sauces, right? Then you have your penne pastas, your thick and cream, and your tuna. You don't get to buy meat in jail unless you're in a C-Class A jail. But what boys do is wash their chicken and all their other meats out of the jail dinners, and they prepare pastas or rice. So they're still getting half a decent feed with their jail dinners, like they probably do that twice a week, I think, because every dinner's not eatable in prison. So rice and pastas are the go-to. A lot of people buy them. In some jails you can buy eggs. A lot of C-Class A jails you can buy eggs. At Nowra and Wellington, you get a barbecue buy-up where you actually get to buy meat. So a lot of boys, what they do is they sell their Ikenche Oopse, not the real chicken. They sell their chicken to buy chicken, sausages and whatnot, like the barbecue pack. For $14 or $10, I forget what it was. Now you get 2 buns, 2 drinks, 2 sausages, a chicken breast and a rissole and onions and lettuce. I think it was for $14 at Wellington. At Nowra, you get the same. And you get to buy 6 eggs as well, like every week, like for an egg buy-up. And this is reoccurring. So you get this every week or every fortnight. But other than that, the food's putrid. Like, so buy-ups are the go, like buy-ups are the go. And then people just have their staples like noodles, baked beans, tuna, sardines, cup of soups, like your pastas, like just things that you can make of a nighttime quick and easy in a cell. How do you cook in a cell? A lot of people use their flatbed brevels, and they use it as like an oven and a stove. They cook their pastas, they cook their noodles, they fry their meat up. So, like, there is ways to, like, have half a decent feed in prison if you're set up. If you're somebody that doesn't have support and you don't have a Breville and you got to live on the jail dinner, it's putrid. Next topic, someone said, cellmate etiquette. Listen, this is an unwritten law, really. This is an unwritten law to treat, like, you and your cellmate have to live together, so you obviously want it to be comfortable and respectful, right? The biggest part of living in a cell with somebody is do not take it itchay in the cell, right? Do not itchay in the cell. If you're locked in and you have to, and it's a must, you must be flushing before it hits the water. And that is called a courtesy flush. But that's fact. Like, if you're locked in and you must go, then, bruh, you must flush before it hits the water and courtesy flush. That is the number one rule, right? Then you have other people that, if you get up to go to the toilet of the night, flush it. Then you have some people that say, oh, brother, that's all good, don't worry about flushing it, flush it in the morning because the toilet wakes me up. I personally go to the toilet, flush it, I don't care. But, like I said, the biggest one is, like courtesy flush. 9 times out of 10, if you are locked in and you need to go to the toilet, what the boys try to do is wait to see if they have to go and get medication, and they do it as they leave the cell, or like try to look for a break, you know what I mean, where they're out of the cell. Obviously, if they're not, like I said, you must, oh, hey, Wade ski, bang, thank you, Wade ski, bang, thank you. What you do is you courtesy flush. Secondly, in a 2-out, bruh, you try not to be up when your cellmate's up and out and are moving around, because there's not much room in a cell already. And you have to understand, a lot of these cells now have been made by extensions. So a 1-out is now a 2-out. A 2-out is now a 4-out or a 3-out. So when they're originally made, Wade ski, bang, when they were originally made, they were made for either one person or 2 people. Now they hold 2 and 4 in there. So imagine the cell, imagine the space, imagine the heat, imagine like the conditions, right? It's ugly, it's sweaty, so the stress levels and your cortisone levels are up high, like walking around, bumping somebody, it's just a shit. So when your cellmate's up and he's doing something, you try to be down and laid down or sitting down somewhere and give him that space, and vice versa. Obviously, oi, Nell, bang, thank you. Take turns in obviously cleaning the cell and grabbing cell cleaning equipment. So if you need toilet paper, grab it. If you need to mop and sweep, it's your turn. You do it, like clean up after yourself. Just like SKT, thank you. All the common courtesy things. Exactly that, bro. Like, respect, don't use your cellmate's stuff unless he says to. Don't go through your cellmate's property unless he tells you to. Don't sit on his bed if he doesn't tell you to. Like, certain things, like don't have your mates come into a cell. Enigma, bang, how are we, brother? Thank you for joining again. Don't have your mates come into a cell and sit on his bed. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a big no-no. You don't want someone that's been running around, playing touch football, playing squash, training, farting in his shorts and doing all this shit, coming and sitting on your cellmate's bed. You know, that's just a no-no. And the rest is common courtesy. Do you know what I mean? Like, if your cellmate sleeps early, don't have the TV blare and you know, like, try to turn the TV more to you so it's not, like, keeping the cell lighting the cell up. Don't leave the light on when your cellmate's asleep. Just be courteous, bro. Like, that's it. Like, and you'll be surprised how easy it is to get along with somebody that you don't know if you're respectful. Because you got to understand this: your first cellmate is going to be probably someone you've never met in your life. How crazy? Think about that. Your first cellmate is going to be someone you've never met. Wow, bruh. And you have to learn about him, learn his likes, his don't likes, and how he sleeps and what his pattern is and everything else. And yeah, bro. So this is the ugly part about jail. That's why I'm lucky that I'm one out. I've got to be one out. Actually, how do you get one outs? Great question. One outs are like through medical or through EHS. I was on EHS, so I had to be one out, and I had to change cells every 28 days. Medical, how do you get a cell one out to be by yourself medically? You got to go through a process. You see a doctor, then you see a psych. You have to tell a psych and the doctor certain stories, that you're uncomfortable with cellmates, that you piss the bed, you do certain stuff in your sleep, you sleepwalk, you've been known to sleepwalk and bash your brother when you've been home because he's going to wake you up and you've assaulted him. Like, all these kind of things, they won't give it to you straight away. You'll go through a process, because if it was given to people that told stories automatically, no one would ever be two out. You know what I mean? Because everybody goes there and hits them with a story. Everybody does it. Everybody's, because no one wants to be 2 out or 4 out. You get the odd couple that do, but anybody that's doing a long, long time, after 3:30, that's your time and your space, bro. And you just want to relax. You want to kick back. Me personally, as soon as I get in the cell at 3:30, that's it. My day's done. So if I ever was 2 out, bro, I wouldn't really talk much after 3:30, 4 o'clock. I'll just lay down, I'll watch a bit of TV, have a bit of a sleep, and I'll just do me. And I used to say to myself, mate, I'm not being rude, but bro, like, my day's done now, you know? Obviously, you'll have a bit of a topic, like a talk on some sort of topic that you see on the news, or you'll be watching a movie and you'll have some sort of talk, but, like, I'm not one of them cellmates that bag and talk until tomorrow morning or until we go to bed. Like, as soon as that door locks on my afternoon muster, that's that day done. It's never coming back. I'm one day forward, and yeah, I'm a day closer to getting out, you know? So, yeah, I don't talk much in myself. And the rest, like I said, it's common courtesy. The last topic, before we start 3 new topics, was corruption that I've seen. I've seen corruption by the truckloads, and I've seen corruption in all shapes, forms. Like, it's crazy. If you aren't involved in the New South Wales prison system, if you don't know anybody that's been in prison, if you haven't had a brother, a cousin, or a family member either work in prison, be like a boyfriend, girlfriend in prison, or just be in prison themselves, you would honestly think corruption would be one of the last things that happen in New South Wales instead of being the actual first thing, bro. Corruption is massive. I've seen it to a point where inmates have been thrown in the wrong yard purposely. I've seen inmates be put on a truck with the wrong race purposely. I've seen Oosgrays bring in Uggrays. I've seen Oosgrays give other boys information on other people. Like, the corruption is crazy, and it's funny, right? Like, corrective services, they're big, right? The corruption's crazy, but Serco and Parkley, their corruption is wildfire. It's crazy. From welfare officers, psychs, officers, pippers, area managers, like, they're crazy. Obviously, I've seen corruption to the level of, like, sex. Like, I've seen officers bring in shoes full of UGG trays, like the sole. As I was talking about last week, there was a Ooskray at Long Bay. If you know, you know, he was an activity officer. Now, this activity officer, perfect job, right? Perfect job being an activity officer, bringing in shoe boxes. What a job, right? Doesn't look red hot, doesn't look sus. He goes and buys activities, he buys shoes, he brings them in for the boys. The boys were getting shoes dropped off at an area and a house, or he was going to pick them up. They were filling the soles up. He was bringing them in on activity buy-ups. He would organise NAIDOC Day, Waitangi Day, all these like international festive days, and he'll bring it in the food. Like, it was just crazy. I remember that it got that bad where he was bringing it in and it got that red hot for him. There was people approaching him that he didn't know of, and he got scared, right? So what he started doing was, the people that approached him that he didn't know of and didn't realise that they had known or how they knew, he was doing the job for them so they wouldn't elte on him. But he was then, because he was on the squad, this Ooskray, right? So if you know, you know. Like, worked at Long Bay as an activity officer and was on the squad. Now, anyone that's done jail from 2004 till probably 2017 would know who I'm talking about, right? So, he would bring it in, call them to the activity office, give it to them, then tell the squad. And the squad would come and ramp that night or the next morning and take it all off him. And he done this to certain people. He didn't do it to the boys, but he did it to certain people because he was getting red hot, right? So one day he pulled in to come to work, and the squad and the police were waiting for him in the car park. And he had the boxer shoes and all the other stuff in his car. They took all the shoes and they took all the clothes that he had, took him to an office, ripped all the soles off shoes, found like 2 pairs of shoes that was full, mobile phones, like syringes, Snoop Boss, ear gay, steroids, like charger, like just like, bruh, Pinocchi. He ends up getting charged, and obviously he then goes through the process and tells everything about who he done it for, how long he's been doing it, the money he made, what other officers were involved. Bo, 2480, SJ, now we can run another battle. Thank you, Bo. And what officers were involved, how long it's been happening for, how the level of corruption works in there, and he ended up getting jailed. I think he got like 4 years or something, you know. But yeah, corruption, if you're not part of the New South Wales prison system, you would actually think corruption never happened. It's actually the first thing you see in jail. It's crazy. It's actually, and like I said, you want to talk about corruption on a whole new level? Cessnock. There was a teacher, not a teacher, there was a nurse there. Her son was on the heroin, and she openly used to talk about this to all the boys that would go and line up, right? And now in jail, you always hear a lot of methadone talk, we call it, right? Like a lot of, they're watering the dome down, I'm hanging out by like 4 o'clock in the morning, or I can't sleep properly, they're hanging, they're watering the dome out, right? Jeffrey Morgan, thank you, my cuz. So you got a lot of this talk, right, about, and we used to call it methadone talk. We're not on the program, but you hear the talk, right? And this is what I'm saying, corruption. This is how far corruption reached in corrective services, right? It didn't discriminate. Corruption never discriminated, right? It actually touched everybody. So this nurse would openly talk about how her son was fighting the battle, and she feels for the boys. Like, I feel for you, I know what you're going through, I know how hard it is to get off it. I'm trying to get my son off it. Now he's on heroin, and I'm trying to get him not to end up where yous are. I've put him into rehab, I've done this, I've done that, right? Well, as soon as she had that talk with the boys, they were all over it. Bruh, she's watering down the dome. What happens when inmates talk? Listen, let me tell you something. Intel doesn't come from smart officers. It comes from dumb criminals talking out of school. It doesn't come from smart officers, because if the inmates never open their mouth, there'll be never a topic to investigate. True? So intel never comes from a smart officer. It comes from a dumb criminal, bro. And that's fact. So if you talk loud enough, long enough, the officers are going to hear it, right? They heard the talk and they thought, you know what? We're going to have a look at this and we're going to see where this takes us. So they watched her do all the don't. Oi, Lawsy, bang. She had the key. She was the head nurse. So she used to dispense the don't, lock it away, had access to all medication, right? So they told all the other nurses to let her go, but to watch her, but let her go, right? One day, obviously, she made her move. They were waiting out the front for her with the police and the squad. She goes out to the car, she jumps in the car. They want to search her bag. What she got in there? Bruh, half the bottle of Dungay. Taking it home to her son, lad. She was taking the methadone home to her son, who was on the outside, where she could have went being a Justice Health nurse. You understand what I'm telling you. She's already working for Justice Health. She would have the connections to get her son on some sort of program already legally and bypass everybody else's waiting points. Like she's amongst the employment. She works in the area. What she was trying to do was not have people know that her son was addicted. So she was trying to do it all in-house, and she thought the next best idea was, I will take the jail off the dome, fuck the Aussies in there, they're used to it, no one will listen to them, even if they do say their own day's being watered down. It's all talk, no one will listen to them. Bruh, funnily enough, everybody listened to the boys and investigated her, and they got caught with the dome. Like, bruh, is that not crazy? Like, is that not crazy? A nurse was fucking taking the own day from the jail. So yeah, corruption's on all levels. Like I said, they've thrown inmates in the wrong yard purposely. Like, you see Supermax, for instance. You see Supermax with Bassam and all the assaults. Like, one person is not that unlucky continuously. Think about it. One person cannot be that unlucky to be continuously thrown in your yard and be assaulted. Like, after the first assault, you can imagine the levels of checks. This is at the most highest secure prison in New South Wales. So he's been assaulted once. You can imagine the checks that it will take to be the second inmate to want to go and house yourself and do laps and spend the day with Bassam. Imagine the checks that we'll have to go through. You wouldn't just do like a last week check. They'll be going through months and months and months and months and making sure your affiliations don't have anything to do with affiliations that are affiliated with him or dramas with him. Like, the checks will be insane. So all these people to keep getting approved and being put in that yard with that one bloke for him to keep getting assaulted, bruh, that's crazy. So I've seen people, get thrown in the wrong yard. I've seen people get thrown on a truck that they shouldn't be on. I've seen people get thrown in a cell where they know they can't be too out. Like, corruption just happens. It's crazy. It happens, and yeah, it's you know what? It's going to continue to happen too. Like, corruption will always, why there's an officer and why there's a prison and why there's an urn, corruption's always going to be number one. Like, it's just going to be the biggest thing there is. Next 3 topics, chat. Let's urge. Oi, Wayno, SKT. Z, thank you for the heart me's. Oi, mental health. Yeah. Bro, staff, yeah. Yeah, I can use 100%, yeah. And he was there. So, that's when he got caught at the bins. He used to do a bin run around the jail. And I remember one day they'd done the bin run around the jail. He picked up all the boys. They went to go and pick it up. And the odd squad was waiting for him down in Industries. He went to the big bin to go and pick it up. And when the squad grabbed him, he got laid down on the ground with all the boys. So the boys that were watching the screws pinch the other screw, said that even the squad had the screw laying down on the ground with all the boys' stuff. What about that? Like, had him laying down with his hands out, legs out, spread, and all the boys around him on the ground, lad. Like, what the actual? That was crazy. Oi, Piercy, what's happening, cuz? Yeah, bro. Well, listen, I've seen that happen. I was the Aboriginal delegate, and I've seen them run in and inject. Listen, this is how David Dungay died, right? God bless his soul, right? And I spoke about this. David Dungay, oi, fuck you, thank you very much. Yeah, no way, boys. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's actual crazy. I must have walked in and just arrested him. Wow. No way. That's crazy. But talking about mental health, listen, people with mental health shouldn't be put in jail, bro. Simple. I've seen some bad mental health in prison, and it's sad to say a lot of my people have it, right? A lot of my people have mental health issues. So, Pike, send me a private message. I want to be your supporter. Yeah, for weighing in. Yeah, bro. Always. Yeah, Pike, you can be my supporter, and like I don't need to send private. I don't send private messages to everybody. I send private messages to everybody that supports me. But yeah, I don't. I got a girl anyway, so I don't inbox people. Like, you can support me here, but I appreciate it. What do they do for people with mental health? Listen, Yuzi, what's happening? Where you been? All right, oi, that's a great question, right? Mental health issues. I used to drop off a screw. No way, Francis. See, that's what I'm saying, bro. We had a clinic nurse. We had a nurse. She used to go and pick up, right? I used to pay her. Yeah, you've been flat out. No way, bro. That's crazy, but it's good. And yeah, she took off with the UG drays, bro. What about that, bro? We had a nurse. She went and picked up an Okra Sneergay, Okra Snicicans, 1,000 Ips trays, 550 Ambergrays, and she was getting paid. And she got paid as she picked it up, and she never come back to work. She took off, lad. Like, what? What? No, yeah. She ended up getting suspended. We paid, but investigated for approximately 6 months. No way, Mark. It's crazy, eh? But mental health. All right, listen. All right, I'm going to turn the comments off. I'll do mental health. So, like I said, I was the Aboriginal delegate, right? And, bro, my people have bad, like, there's a lot of my people in there that have mental health, right? We have lost a couple of brothers due to mental health. Why? Because corrective services ain't equipped to deal with mental health patients. They're just not equipped to deal with it. They have uni students. Listen to this, bruh. They have uni students come in and do their, what's it called when they, like their work experience, their placement. Yeah. They come in and do their placement in correctional centres. Like, why? Because if you get it wrong, who's around? Right? If you get it wrong, if you get it wrong, who's no harm, no foul. Simple. You know what I mean? Like, this is all about learning. Learn on these people. Why? Because they're too far gone anyway. Like, don't worry. That's what it's like in there, right? So mental health in New South Wales prison system is not equipped for. They have D-Wing at Long Bay. They have B-Wing at Long Bay. Now, these people get these mixed up. D-Wing is actually a spinner's ward, a psych ward. B ward is the hospital, right? So now they've got another big part at Silverwater. But like I said, poor Dave Dungay lost his life at Long Bay because this is the only jail where they run in and forcibly are allowed to inject you with any unknown substance to put you to sleep, to calm you down, to do whatever. Well, David Dungay, he had biscuits in his cell. Biscuits, right? He's a diabetic. Now, they come to his door, he's in a dry cell. If you don't know what a dry cell is a cell with nothing in there. It's a concrete bed. That's it. You don't have your clothes on. Your clothes are outside your door. You have a gown on, like a hospital gown, and a blanket that's like an old fire blanket. You know the fire blankets that are grey and real itchy? One of them, right? That's all he had. He had some biscuits in there. I don't know how he got the biscuits, but he got the biscuits, right? Well, they've come around and they've seen him with the biscuits and they've said, like, give us the biscuits back. He said, go and get fucked. I'm not giving you nothing, right? They said he started to have an episode, which is bullshit. They were saying that he started spinning out, going crazy, over biscuits. They called the squad. The squad come, right? When the squad come, he starts to get agitated and angry because now The squads come, right? Well, as soon as the squad come and you're angry, the first thing you think of is what? You think you're going to intimidate me? You think you're going to send these people here, intimidate me, and I'm going to fold? Bring it on. So this, like, bro, this engulfed the situation. This didn't minimize it. This engulfed it, right? So when the squad realized that he was going to be an issue, they rang the clinic, and they've got the clinic to come down. They said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run in here. We're going to subdue him. We're going to hold him. You are going to inject him with whatever it is that you need to put him to sleep, and we'll remove the biscuits from his cell, right? Now, all for biscuits, right? Like, seriously, all for biscuits. What's the harm if he ate 6 more? Like, he's diabetic, all right? When have you ever cared what he ate? Like, when have you ever thought, I'm going to knock on Dave Dungay's door tonight to make sure he's not drinking too many coffees with too much sugar in it, or to make sure he hasn't ate all them packets of lollies, or to make sure that he's eating his jail dinner. When have you ever cared? Never. It was an issue just to fucking start an issue. That's what it was. There was an issue for you to start an issue, and as you wanted to, because he's been banging on the door all day, doing your heads in all day, because you wouldn't let him out, you wouldn't give him phone calls, you wouldn't give him exercise. He somehow got biscuits that an officer must give him because he can't get out of his cell. Like, these are the questions you need to be asking yourselves. Let's be real. But nah, bro, they don't give a uckfay. Like I said, they're not housed, or they're not mentally equipped to deal with mental health. So they run into his cell, right? The squad subdue him, right? They inject him with whatever they inject him with. Now, on camera, it's heard Dave Dungay say 12 times, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Get the fuck off me. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. What do you think they do? They throw 3 more officers on. They put a knee in the back of the head. They ask on camera, how long does this take to kick in? Don't worry, he should be asleep in 10 seconds. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. More officers trying to hold him down, trying to hold him down. Dave Dungay becomes unresponsive. Bruh, what do you think happens? Wow, roll him over, start CPR. You've injected him with something that no one knows what you injected him with, all right? Or because he had a packet of biscuits that an officer must have given him, and now when you was doing this to him, he told you he couldn't breathe because you've had a headache all day from him kicking a door, wanting to get 12 fucking steps in out of his cell, wanting to ring his mum and dad, wanting to do laps in the sun. And now, at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Dave is deceased. All because this young brother had mental health issues and they didn't know how to deal with it, so they injected him with something, bro. Like, mental health in Australia is putrid. It's putrid. They don't know what they're doing. They don't care about what they're doing. They warehouse mental health inmates. They warehouse them and they don't care. And listen, you know what's sad about that, right? If they're serious about rehabilitation, that would be a focus, because you know how many people come in psychosis and have mental health issues because of the eye? Think about it. Every second person out here is using it. Every second person out here is like losing their mind on it. Well, when they commit crimes, where do you think they go? Like, OJ. So what do you think the mental health situation's like in prison now? Seriously. And they throw them out in the main, then they don't work on their mental health at all because they go to jail, they get clean, they feel like they're better. They might be. But when they get out and they have that first tickle again, then voices come back because it's induced. Do you know what I'm saying? And they don't know this because they've never learnt any of this. They haven't been taught any of this and no one's worked on it with them, right? So then the cycle repeats itself. And one day when they spin out that much and they end up killing 3 people running through Bathurst Street in the city and having an episode, like, bruh, yeah, mental health's crazy, bruh. It's actually crazy. But what are we doing now? Marcus, thank you. Hey, all right, bank story. Chat, what about deaths inside? Yes, bruh, listen, there was heaps of deaths. So we got deaths inside, bank story, one more, chat. What's one more? $2.10 glasses with $2.10 hats. Boy, that's a good idea. Oi, Haley Shenanigans, thank you for joining. Oi, PSA, Men in Black. Yeah, I spoke about them, but we'll go across it again then. All right, so bank story. All right. And who did Spaniard run with inside? All right, sweet. All right, so we're going to start with who did Spaniard run with inside? Spaniard was a little bit more. Miss Caramel, no way, where you been? Like, wow, been on for almost 40 minutes and you joined now. Slipping, man, slipping. Like, wow. Spaniard was multicultural in prison. Matty with the roses. He ran with everybody, but nobody, if that makes sense. He trained on his own. He done a lot of things on his own, but he kicked it when he had spare time with everybody. He didn't run with the brothers. He didn't run with the Islanders. He didn't run with the Lebs. He kicked it with everybody. But if he spent time, if I had to look at time-wise, who he spent, greened out. What's that shame, bruh? If I had to look at time that he did spend most of his time with, it would be pushed more to the brothers. But that's because he's from the middle of the city and he knew them all. Do you know what I mean? Like, but he never ran with anyone like fight-wise. He never got in race wars. He never got involved in any politics like that. So he done him, and he kind of hung with the brothers when he had spare time. But also, he wasn't like racist. He was diverse with his energy and time. He kind of just hung with whoever, right? Bank stories. Tiana King, thank you. I've told heaps of bank stories that I've been pinched with and gone to jail with. But I can talk about my last one, obviously. Was a bank. It was a Commonwealth. It was in the city. It was during COVID, right? The car that, oi, Bumpsy, what's happening, bro? Thank you, McKitty, bro. Where you been? Like, wow. It was in the middle of COVID, so I was working at the time, right? I was working on the docks. Same job I have now, different company. Obviously, the first thing to stop when COVID hit was the containers, the docks. Matty with popcorn on SpongeBob. Wow. Bro, he looked like popcorn. Wow. Reading just leaving Kay's name out and now thinking SpongeBob's popcorn. I might need glasses. Oi, Francis, thank you. Miss Caramel. Yes, what the huckage. See that? See the traps, lad? So anyways, right, I lost my job, right? I got made redundant. So the boys had a car, right? It was an RS4 Audi, right? RS4 Audi, silver one. So I ended up doing an ICUP, right? And was on the banking in Kenzo. So cut a long story short, Matty with the 210 hat and you're a level 12 gifter. No way. So I do this ICUP, right? We got 200 grand. I wait till the bank's about to open. The last lady goes in. I walk in with her. I go to the side door and I walk in behind the counter. A lady takes off. I chase her. I think she's going to go down there, lock herself in the room to ring the police, right? So this is the only reason I chase her down to the back office. Now, in that back office, there was a bag. The bag had been delivered by the armor guard and it had 200,000 in it, right? So I got lucky. It wasn't planned, like nothing, but the ICUP was planned, but that wasn't. I didn't know that was in there. That was a bonus, right? So I leave, right? Now, when I do the ICUP, I had a COVID mask on, hat, hood, backpack on my chest, right? My OEK was in the car. He had the same thing, COVID mask, hat, sunnies. He never takes these off at all. And remember, back in the day when COVID was around, you still had to drive in the car with a mask on, right? But when I done this ICUP, the law had been laxed where one person could take their mask off and the other person can keep it on and you could have a passenger. Because back in the day when COVID first happened, you couldn't even have a passenger in your car. So I had a grey jumper on, had red writing across the top of it in Gant, G-A-N-T, big fluffy letters, like stood off the jumper, big fluffy letters, right? That was seen on the bank footage, right? So there was a bloke that comes into the bank, hat, sunnies, COVID mask, hood, Gant jumper. When I leave and I jump in the car, we take off, right? I was going back to my area, which is Kensington. Now, for some reason, I said to my Coe, listen, don't go to my house, right? Let's go to Waterloo, right? We're on Anzac Parade. Now, I used to live on Doncaster Avenue, and at Kensington, where the 7-Eleven is and the light rail, there's a cross street, right? And it's called Todman Avenue, right? So we're about to turn right onto Todman Avenue to go to my house. I said, don't go home. We have a change of heart, right? We turn left. As we turn left, there's a set of lights there, right? The lights are turning red. We go straight through it, bro. The camera goes off. So a red light camera gets us. In the process of me doing that, as soon as I jumped in the car and we left the ink bay, for some reason I took my mask off. Bang. I don't know why I did it. I just did it, right? Throw my hood back. I'm sitting in the front seat, right? We go through this red light camera. It takes a flash, whatever. Not really worried, but a little bit worried, right? Like, fuck, was that us? Who cares, right? Well, 3 or 4 months goes by, right? When they get the photo, they send it to the owner of the vehicle, right? Because obviously he's a registered owner. When he gets that photo, he appeals it and says, mate, I reported my car stolen. That's not me. He takes it into the police, right? When the police look at it, they're like, I know who that is. Like, I know who that is, right? Well, they start to do an investigation. The number plate is now seen in this photo, right? As they do their investigation, someone had give them the number plate of the car the day of the bank robbery. So now they start matching the car to the bank and the photo. Then a policeman from Aruba says, I know who that is. That's fucking ROBIN210. No way. What? What? There was a bank done in this. So then they go back to the police that are investigating the bank. They look at the bank CCTV footage, and there a bloke is in the same jumper, right? Putting his backpack on his chest. So they see the Gant before I throw it on my chest so I can put the money on my, like, front ways. Do you know, instead of having it on my back? So I should have just had it on my chest as I got out of the car, but that looks a bit red hot. So I had it over my thing, and then I could slide it up, right? So now they're like, we got him. My door gets kicked in 15 months later, and that's how I get arrested for it, bro. So I get arrested because 2 minutes after the bank robbery, that red light camera goes off. They can see my face, they see my jumper, they match the jumper to that bank. They like, bro, I was fucked. And because Kensington and Kingsford Juniors ain't that far away, like 2.5 minutes in the car, the time frame says, listen, there's no way it could not have been him. That's him, 100%. He was that person in the bank. He's that person in the car. That's him. And that's how I got found guilty. That's it. Death Squad. Erdemey's in jail by Screws and Death Squad. This is, bro, I spoke about this just recently. New South Wales correctional centres and officers have murdered a handful of inmates. Facts. They murdered Paul Barganshaw. They murdered Jack Perry. They murdered George Savvis. They would have murdered, no word of a lie, they would have killed Ivan Milat if he hadn't been too high profile. Facts. The only reason they didn't, because if he come up as deceased in a prison somewhere, the inquest, the uproar that would have been around this man's death was too big of a headache for New South Wales correctional centres to deal with, because of who he was and what the charges were at the time, right? Yes, Ian Saxon, Men in Black, who are they? They're officers that have been solely hired by the New South Wales Commissioner to unalive inmates that cause correctional centres headaches, such as, and it's funny, right, because every inmate that these Death Squad had unalived had either escaped, shot an officer, or tried to escape. Paul Barger had a shootout at Long Bay Jail. Actual shootout. He shot an officer whilst in the jail. George Santos shot an officer at Parramatta, trying to escape. Georgie Savvis had a car dropped off on the outside of Maitland Mall with a boot full of guns after he just escaped from Goulburn, walked out in civilian clothes on a visit. So he gets changed on a visit, walks out, escapes Goulburn jail, right? gets caught eating in Paddington in a 5-star restaurant, ends up going back to Maitland Prison, gets overheard planning another escape. RC was an inmate that worked at reception room with Ivan Milat, overheard the conversation, told the officers that George Savas and Ivan Milat are planning on escaping. They search reception room, they find a ladder that Ivan Milat made, they go in and they grab George Savas and Ivan Milat, they put him in Segro. 2-3 days later, George Savas is hanging. They say that he killed himself. Everybody knows it was the Men in Black. Ian Saxon, he was the Molly Meldrum of music. So we all know who Molly Meldrum is. Well, Ian Saxon was the original Molly Meldrum. He had In Excess, he had AC/DC, he had Cold Chisel, he had Kylie Minogue. He was very, very good mates with Naomi Campbell. These were photos on his cell wall. He used to get letters at Christmas time, Easters, and all this off, like Naomi Campbell, all these supermodels and all these bands. Like Ian Saxon was like he was about it. He had $1 million in his garage going moldy, bruh. Like $1 million in old paper money going moldy. Wow. Well, they walked into the cell one night, removed him from the cell at 2 o'clock in the morning. He was never seen again. Rumours were that he went to Newcastle. Rumours were that Newcastle, New Zealand. Rumours were Newcastle. It's like, why would I say Newcastle? She's from Newcastle. Rumours were that he went to New Zealand. Rumours were that he got knocked. So, and now someone's saying he just got buried. So who knows, bro? But yeah, crazy. And that's the Men in Black. Wow. Kato, what's happening? Miss Caramel, listen, you are 122 of the fan club. Kay, thank you for liking the live. Like, I should be seeing this name more regularly with the likes. What's happening? I've done heaps, bro. There's heaps, like Artarmon, like Sydney, all through Sydney, Strathfield, like there's heaps. Oi, Tiana King, thank you very much. Crocker, thank you for joining. Jeff, thank you for joining. Chris, I just finished 6 years. I just finished 6 years, bro, for the bank. Oi, Wagwan 340, thank you. Tripper, thank you. Greened out, thank you. Oi, Tyrone, thank you very much. Yeah, I was back 100%. Oi, Michaela, bang, how are you? Oi, Jugsy, thank you for joining, bruh. Yeah, I was. I've never drunk alcohol. I've never smoked a cigarette. I've never smoked a bong. I went straight to ear-gay and I was addicted to that for a little bit, and then hence the bank robberies. The only reason I went straight to stick-ups is because my mates, we'd done ram raids before, and we'd done heaps of them, right? Duty-free shops, Karcher, DeWalt, pressure washers, tools, like all the stuff that is resellable quickly. But my biggest issue with that was, bro, the boys only had one good fence, and once you end up getting arrested, the process of trying to all say the stuff like was crazy. Oi, BW, thank you for joining. Nikki Simpson, thank you for joining. It was crazy. So I was impatient. I wanted money now, and I didn't want to have to commit an IMCRA, then try to chase the money off that. So my only next option was ICUPs, right? So the very first time I'd done an ICUP was on a post office, and I remember being real proud about it. And I was sitting with two older blokes, and they said, bro, there's no money in that. There's no money in like post offices. You want to do anything? Bang, come straight to the Ink Bays. I've told this story where they took me and done the Ink Bay. The first time I'd done the Ink Bay, I was really a crowd control, but I watched how easy it was. Within 90 seconds, we're leaving with Alki money. And I thought, wow, bro, this is it. this is me, bro. You know, like I said, I didn't have role models. I was attracted to the streets, the fast women, the bright lights, the motels. I was attracted to that stuff. The role models that I did have were drug dealers and bangers that had women that were like about that life as well. So that's what attracted me to the streets. And the stick ups was attraction because of the money, and that's how my life panned out for 20 years. Crazy. Oh, JD's. Jeez. Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's right, bro. Yeah, Jeff. Yeah, 100%. 100%, bro. Yeah, the rate, well, for sure, bro. Even now, like Ookie Bays. But listen, I'll tell you something what's fucked hiccups. So, I done a florist, right? On Valentine's Day. A florist, right? Bruh, think about it. Florist, roses are massive money, right? Massive money. And this florist was inside a mall, right? And I used to watch this florist and it used to pump, right? Like, no one does banks anymore. No, they don't. I'll tell you what the Gunji said to me. I'll tell you about this florist part. So I done a florist, right? On Valentine's Day. Anyways, I got 67 grand out of it, right? I've been charged for it. Yeah, right? I got charged for it. I got $67,000 out of it, right? You know how much roses, teddy bears and all that are, right? You know, it's crazy amounts, right? But listen to this, right? When I took the ag bays out of the safe, there was a whole bag in there. It was in a cash bag, right? So I removed it because it felt like money. Because when I grabbed it, it felt like money. It crinkled, it was rough. So I put it in my bag, right? Well, when I got back, I opened the first bag, I tipped it out, right? Bang, there was this money in there. I tipped the second bag out, bang, money. The third bag, which was the last bag, was bigger. I thought, bruh, we've kicked. We've kicked, right? Bruh, it was receipts from FPOST. Like, do you know what I mean? And there was double in FPOST. Yeah, it was like, so there's no money in it anymore. FPOST have killed everything. When I got arrested for the bank, the policeman said to me, listen, you're an idiot. There's people doing exactly the same thing you are, but over the phone. Like, there's no money in crime anymore. Yeah, whatever, it was spewing. There's no money in crime. This life is a wasted life. It's not a life that young fellas should be dedicating their life to. It's unattractive. It's a bad look. It's stupid. Like, I wish that I had somebody earlier in my life say, bruh, listen, you're throwing your life away. It's bullshit, this life. The real men and the real gangsters get up and go to work every morning. They struggle. They support a family. They have debt. They get loans. They don't have a life other than what they do for Monday to Friday. Bruh, that's exactly, be a human, big unit, 100% well said. Be a human. Have the struggles in life. Be broke. Have credit. You know, like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Bruh, exactly. Should have stayed on the South Coast. But you know why I had to leave, Jeff. You know what I mean? Yeah, we all do. Yeah, 100%. You know, like, so that's me now, bro. That's the life I promote. You know what I mean? Listen, go and get credit, get into debt, like, work Monday to Friday. Like, that's life, bro. Have arguments with your woman because you're stressing out, you don't get to spend enough time together because she's at work and you're at work. Like, bro, that's real life. Like, the one thing about, I did Zenny, I did go to juvie. The one thing that you get caught up in the gangster life is it's fake. Like, it's actually fake, bro. Like, you don't have real life problems. It's all like, it's just shit. You know what I mean? Like, and loyalty isn't loyalty anymore. Respect isn't respect anymore. People don't hold the respect to the T or loyalty to the Y like you do. You know, and if they were really your mates, they wouldn't be asking you. It's a little bit calmer, Zenny. It's a little bit calmer. Hard to say, solid. Exactly. You're a big unit. 100%, bro. Exactly right. But listen, to all these young brothers out there and young sisters that are amongst it right now, and that are doing all the nappins and doing all the Ugdray runs and that, why do you think it's you that's doing that? Why do you think they're asking you to do it? Because the people that are sending you to do it don't want to do it themselves. The people that are asking you to do it don't want to do it themselves because they don't want to do the jail. They don't want to do the headaches that come with it. That's why they want you to do it. They're using you. They're abusing you. They're selling you a dream that is bullshit. Like, listen, these people will promise you the world and give you an atlas. That's the truth. They will give you their world in a book. It's useless to you. You know what I mean? These people are con artists. They sell you a life that doesn't exist. Believe me, because I've been conned too. And that's fact. I got conned just like all yous are getting conned as well. This life is fake. It's actual fake. Yeah, they have it, yeah. And Surrey Hills, listen, exactly right, Street Yarns. Surrey Hills should be enough not to make you go and commit crime. Like, I'll tell you a story about Surrey Hills, right? So Surrey Hills is a centre that's in the middle of the city, right? It's called, like, Police Centre, right? The Sydney Police Centre, right? The lights are on. Don't do bad shit. Big unit, 100%. Don't do stupid shit. It doesn't even have to be bad shit. Oi, CJ, thank you for joining. Just don't do stupid shit. True big unit, like, fuck the bad shit. Just don't be a dickhead. Don't be an idiot. Like, live life, bruh. Struggle. Respect. It's hell on earth, 100%. Street Yarns, listen to this. I had spent almost 15 days in Surrey Hills, right? Now, Surrey Hills is underground, right? And their lights are on a timer, right? So their lights go off at 11 o'clock at night and turn on at 6 in the morning, right? So one night, I'm sitting there thinking, fuck, I'm hungry, bro. Like, when's dinner? What do you think the time is, bro? It's got to be close to 7. Fuck, well, dinner should come around soon. You reckon it's close to 7 o'clock? Bruh, it can't be too far off 7. We don't know the time. No one had a watch, right? It's like you don't get to see the sun. You don't get to see the stars. You don't get to see the sky. Remember what I told you, bro. They turned the lights off at 11, right? Bruh, they come around with our dinner, pies. As soon as I got my pie in my hand, the lights went off. They were giving us dinner at almost 12 o'clock, like 11 o'clock at night. Bruh, Surrey Hills is putrid. Listen to this. There is one cell with 15 people in there. Out of them 15 people, 8 of them are hanging out, right? There's 4 beds. The rest you're on the floor. Like, you got 1 blanket. You got 15 different odours in there. You get out for a shower once a day if you're lucky, and it could be at 6 in the morning. So you lock straight back into your cell. Like, bruh, that's putrid. Surrey Hills is putrid. That's horrible, bruh. And that in itself should be enough not to send anyone back to prison. Facts. Surrey Hills it's a nightmare. Yeah, anything to fuck with yo. You haven't got work anymore, no. Yeah, I know. Yeah, big 100 big unit, 100%, bro. Yeah. And then, listen, the second worst place on earth is Darcy. Once you get to Darcy, you're actually happy because Surrey Hills is that bad, right? You're happy to get to Darcy, but listen to this. Once you've been in jail 6 months and you come back to Silverwater for court and there's no other wings to go in and they put you in Darcy, you realise how bad Darcy is. Darcy's putrid as well. So, like, well, I think so, yeah, Street Yarns, I think so. I mean, Sydney Realist, I think so. 100%. 100%. I believe everyone should experience Surrey Hills because it's putrid. Yeah, scabies, bro. My parole, Matty, my parole finishes in September next year. I was in Kenzo. SJ Kenzo. Bruh, they had this choice to paint the walls. I bet you they painted the walls so someone can throw a meat pie straight at it. Bro, they wouldn't fix a TV to keep boys entertained. They'll paint the wall so the boys can tag on it and throw meat pies on it again, like something useless. That's what Corrective Services would have done straight away. That's how stupid they are. And tell me that's what they did. Yeah, Grafton was putrid. Oi, Jeff, I love you, bro. Take care. And thanks for joining.